Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped that most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money. But instead of entering the league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. And it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil. And the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed, they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest football teams in Brazil. Now, they were global superstars, and despite not being professional, Corinthians drew in the crowds. Everybody wanted to play them, everybody wanted to watch them. So much so, they regularly played the winners of the FA Cup in what eventually became the Community Shield, winning most of the time. They actually inflicted Manchester United's worst defeat, 11-3, a record which still stands to this day. Now, fast forward to today, Corinthian Casuals still don't pay their staff or players. The ethos of sportsmanship is still at the heart of everything that they do. And even though they're a side in the lower leagues, if you make the trip to King George's Field in Tolworth just off the A3, you'll most likely bump into Brazilian Corinthians fans who often make the pilgrimage across the globe just to watch their founding team play.
Is the first early sports breakfast of 2026. I'm Olivia Buzaglo. I can't believe I'm back. I've had some time off over Christmas and it's been lovely, but I'm back. And I've sort of coincided it with a positive Chelsea result, actually. If I'd have been here over Christmas, it would have been very negative. But we're here and it's positive, and we're building up to TalkSport Breakfast this morning at 6 a.m. with Jeff Stelling and Ray Party Parlour. Right, coming up then over the next hour, we'll be diving into all of the biggest stories on a dramatic weekend, both on and off the pitch. It was late drama for managerless Chelsea, an extended lead at the top for Arsenal, and Ruben Amorim potentially talking himself into the sack. It's all going up. We're only 5 days into 2026, guys. 5 days and all of this has happened. Plus, we of course have to celebrate the outrageous Luke Littler, back-to-back world darts champion, only the fourth player to do so, and it was never really in doubt, was it? 7-1 in the final against Jan van Veen. It was unbelievable from the teenager. As always, you can get involved on the usual number 03717 223344, or you can text us as well 81089. There is plenty to talk about this morning. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it, shall we? I hope everyone has had a lovely Christmas and a lovely New Year. Let's just first have a look at some of the back pages, which, as you can imagine, have been dominated by Ruben Amorim, Manchester United, Manchester City and Chelsea. On the back page of the Telegraph, Amorim future in doubt after back me or sack me outburst. On the back page of the Mail, don't do my job. Amorim gambles with his future in astonishing rant at United bosses. Also on the back page is Rosenia set for Chelsea as Fernandes foils City. And on the back page of the Sun as well, Amorim attack on United Chiefs. Pep's title fight. And, of course, Liam flies in for Blue's job. It does look like he will be announced as the new Chelsea boss. But like I say, pretty much all of the back pages are those sort of similar stories today. Let's have a listen, first of all, then, to what Ruben Amorim, the Manchester United, head coach, manager. I don't know what he is. What is he? What does he want to be? He's officially the head coach, but he wants to be the manager, right? He said, I am the manager. I came in to be the manager. Let's just have a listen to what this explosive rant, what he actually had to say after that draw with Leeds.
I noticed that you receive selective information about everything. I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach of Manchester United. And that is clear. I know that my name is not Tuchel, is not Conte, is not Mourinho, but I'm the manager of Manchester United. If people cannot handle the Gary Nevilles and the criticisms of everything, we need to change the club. And it's going to be like this. I'm not going to quit. I will do my job. I just want to say that I'm going to be the manager of this team, not just the coach. And I was really clear on that. And that is going to finish in 18 months. And every department, the scouting department, the sport director needs to do their job. I will do mine for 18 months and then we move on.
Oh, gosh. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, why has he said that? So he obviously technically is the head coach, but he says he is the manager of Manchester United. I think I was sort of looking at what the differences are between a head coach and a manager. Obviously, a head coach focuses primarily on on-field stuff, tactics, while a manager has sort of broader responsibilities and wants to be involved in transfers and recruitment. And that's obviously what Ruben Amorim wants. He wants a little bit more control. TalkSport understands that Ruben Amorim's future at United is now in the balance following his explosive attack on the club's hierarchy. Amorim's fractured relationship with Director of Football Jason Wilcox is viewed by sources close to United as making his long-term position uncertain. We're going to pause there for a second because we'll get back to the Manchester United chat in just a second because there's been a wicket, John Norman.
It has indeed. Weatherall's flighty innings has come to an end. He's been given out LBW for 21. Ben Stokes with the breakthrough. He's got a massive technical flaw in his game as Jake Weatherall. And I'm not sure we're going to see too much of him. It's just another full ball on the pads. And he just can't get the bat round in front of himself in time. Struck low down and even a review. Well, the review looked optimistic, and so it proved. Australia don't lose it because the ball was shown to be clipping the leg stump. But Weatherall's gone. England strike. Australia 57 for 1.
Thanks very much, John. We'll keep you up to date on that Ashes test. Right, let's continue with Manchester United then. Because obviously, as I was saying, it does feel like Ruben Amorim's future is in the balance. It's giving me Enzo Maresca vibes, I can't lie. When a manager comes out and has such an explosive, I say explosive, when a manager just comes out and says what they're feeling and what they're thinking, it tends to only end one way. We saw that with Enzo Maresca. It went downhill very quickly after those Everton comments. And then 2 weeks later, he's being replaced as the Chelsea boss. So I wonder what this means for Ruben Amorim as Manchester United head coach, as Manchester United manager. But Man United fans, I want to know what your thoughts were on Ruben Amorim's comments. If he were to leave now, how would you view his tenure? Are you behind him? Do you want him to stay because he basically came out and said, I'll be here until my contract and not any further. How do you feel about him saying that? 03717 223344 is the number to call, or you can text us on 81089. But Manchester United fans, get in touch this morning. I would love to hear your thoughts on what Ruben Amorim had to say after that Leeds draw. All right. And we can breathe. Well, we can't breathe because what a start to 2026 it has been. And here's how it all sounded on TalkSport.
Goalkeeper's gone miles away and he's out of his goal. And McGuinness put it in from 30 yards and he's surely sealed the points now. Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Mateus Mane has made it 3-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. This West Ham team is an embarrassment. Scott Parker's side marooned 6 points adrift of safety. Brighton 2, Burnley 0.
Over 2, Arsenal 3, 2 Declan Rice goals, stroked him perfectly.
Cunha down the right-hand side, into the area, slips it under the goalkeeper, and in. And Cunha scores an equaliser for Manchester United.
Spurs 1, Sunderland 1. It's Brian Brobby who's rifled home, and what a goal it was as well.
Thiago, who's got it, completing his hat-trick. Everton 2, Brentford 4.
The ball goes in the back post. Bruno Guimaraes has scored! Oh my word! What a goal for Fulham! Just when Liverpool thought they'd stolen the victory, it's Harrison Reed from 30 yards out. Fulham 2, Liverpool 2.
Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Enzo Fernandez with the finishing touch.
Yeah, like I said, what a start to 2026. It was in the Premier League. It all began with Villa getting back to winning ways against Forest. It says finishing the weekend joint second. Producer Sim, they're third. No, yeah, they are third. If the Premier League was to end today, Aston Villa would be there level on points with second place Manchester City is what we're trying to get at. But they did get back to winning ways, and it's been, what a few months it's been for Unai Emery and Aston Villa. Are they the best chance of stopping Arsenal of winning the league? I'm sure Gabby Agbonlahor will be loving that. West Ham. Gosh, what's happened at West Ham? Wolves winning 3-0 at Molineux, their first win of the season. A huge game this midweek, by the way. West Ham against Nottingham Forest. What a huge game that is. Arsenal won a close-fought game at Bournemouth. They're now 6 points clear at the top of the league. Leeds and Manchester United drew, as did Spurs and Sunderland, Fulham and Liverpool. By the way, what an absolute screamer from Harrison Reed. Unbelievable. And, of course, managerless Chelsea snatching a late point. At Manchester City, yeah, I'm sure everyone will be sitting and hoping and waiting to hear my views on what's happened at Chelsea. What I would say is it's just so Chelsea. To start 2026 like this, it couldn't be any more Chelsea. And I think the game yesterday even summed it up, actually. This club works perfectly in chaos. No matter the players, no matter the manager, no matter if they don't even have a manager. It just feels like chaos is like, that's what sums up Chelsea Football Club. I mean, 7 months ago, Callum McFarlane was coaching in the Southampton Academy. And then he moved to Chelsea, prepping the under-21s just a few weeks ago. 7 days ago, he couldn't even access the first team part of Cobham. And now he's coaching Chelsea to a 1-1 draw away at the Etihad against Pep Guardiola. I mean, one thing I would say is that Chelsea are the team that you don't want to face in a big game. No matter what the situation, no matter how chaotic it is at that football club, even if Chelsea's form isn't good, they will try and find a way to ruin it for everybody else. And that is exactly what they did against Manchester City. And I think the game was there for the taking for Manchester City. They dropped off in that second half. What I would say is Callum McFarlane's subs did change the game and he got them right. Andre Santos coming on allowed Enzo to move further up the pitch. But they did concede City in the 94th minute. And after the game, their manager Pep Guardiola was asked if he was annoyed about how it came about.
Listen, everybody has that. I know that. I have another opinion. Of course, when they could not play in the way they played in the halftime because not even past the halfway, and of course they make more aggressive, more there, and they play good in the process and in these kind of situations. But the first two action was because we lost 2 balls, easy passes, and they could run, but the rest was really good. And of course in that position we have the ball and we control and talent players like we could run, and at the end we didn't find the last pass and the last moment to finish the game. So it was simple as that.
Yeah, it was a simple goal really in the end that saw Chelsea nick a point. And it's all this talk about inverting fullbacks, and it was just so simple in terms of a Malo Gusto overlapping the winger, getting past Nico O'Reilly. Sometimes maybe it's just best to go back to basics. I've missed an overlapping fullback at Chelsea, and he did well against Nico O'Reilly, put a lovely ball in. It sort of trickled somehow to Enzo Fernandez. By the way, Enzo Fernandez was absolutely brilliant. I think Callum McFarlane said after the game as well about how Enzo Fernandez, along with Reece James and I think Tosin, he said, have really stepped up in terms of leadership over the last few days. He made the most tackles, most duels won, most touches in the opposition box, most shots on target. And Enzo Fernandez is so much more effective when he can play a little bit further forward. And I think that's exactly what we saw from that second half performance. Andre Santos, I thought, was brilliant. I mean, one thing is for sure, we've spoken about it loads. I'll speak about it again. Reece James is one of the best footballers in the Premier League. I think to come up against Declan Rice and now Rodri without Moises Caicedo next to you and to put in 2 man of the match performances says everything you need to know about Reece James. An incredible game from him. Again, let's hear from Chelsea interim boss then, Callum McFarlane. Not long ago, an 8th tier assistant boss. Here's him on nicking a point against Pep.
Obviously, he's one of the best managers that's ever done it, but I think that seems to be the narrative of the game, and I don't think it should be. I think it should be about the players that are playing, top internationals, top players, and I think the talk should be about our players and how well they performed. It shouldn't be about me taking a game interim. It should be about the quality of performance that those lads put on with everything that's gone on. That should be the narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was Callum McFarlane talking there. I mean, obviously, it's nice to talk about the players, and I really liked his interview, and I really liked the moment at full-time as well when Reece James went and got him, and you could tell he didn't want it to be about him at all, but Reece James went and got him and sort of ushered him over to the away set of fans there as they were clapping him. So to go to the Etihad and nick a point and put in a real positive second-half performance, Callum McFarlane should be very proud. Yeah, it's been a tough few days at Chelsea, but it does look like it's going to be resolved pretty soon with Liam Brasilia on his way over to London to finalise being the new Chelsea boss. Right, the TalkSport network is the only place to hear all 10 midweek Premier League games, starting with that huge game at the bottom, West Ham against Nottingham Forest, the Nuno Espirito Santo derby, and of course finishing with a huge game at the Emirates as well, Arsenal against Liverpool. That's on Thursday. You are listening to Early Breakfast on TalkSport with me, Olivia Buzaglo. Up next, we'll take a closer look at the back pages, which are of course dominated by Ruben Amorim. good morning. I'm Olivia Buzaglo, and this is Early Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport. Thanks for your company this Monday morning. Jeff Selling and Ray Parler will be here for TalkSport Breakfast from 6 a.m. Right, a few things that you need to know this morning. Joe Root hit an impressive 160 overnight to help England to 384 on day one of the 5th Ashes Test in Sydney. Australia are currently 64 for 1 in reply. Arnold Slot says he no longer questions the validity of offside calls. That's after a close call, which saw Florian Wirtz adjudged to be onside for Liverpool's first goal in the 2-2 draw at Fulham. A little bit controversial, this one. I've seen two different angles of it. I've seen one where Florian Wirtz's big toe is a little bit offside, which would be offside. But then I've seen another one where he does look behind the Fulham player. So I have genuinely got no idea which one's right and how they've come to that decision, but they have. And Leeds manager Daniel Farke is taking nothing for granted despite yesterday's 1-1 draw against Man United, opening up an 8-point gap to 18th place West Ham.
Would be 18, I would be quite calm and relaxed, but it's just 8, so 22 points won't be enough in order to stay in this league. So we have to keep going. We have to win several more points, because the feeling is also that you have to win more points than in the seasons before to stay in this league. So for that, we can't allow ourselves not to stay humble and not to stay ground. We have to keep going.
Yeah, Leeds have Newcastle away on Wednesday night, which is live and exclusive for you on the TalkSport app. And for more on all the day's biggest stories, you can head over to talksport.com. All right, time now to get into the back pages. Tom Clayton with me in the studio. Tom, Leeds. Let's just Leeds.
Yeah.
Good result. But why is it that after a Leeds game, there seems to be drama that follows?
It seems to be almost every week. It's just no one can handle the lights of Ellen Road outside of the Leeds players. I mean, Mo Salah couldn't, and now Ruben Amorim can't. What are we next time? I think Fulham are next to come to Ellen Road. Are we going to see an outburst from Marco Silva?
Maybe,
you never know. Speaking of managerial outbursts, you've already spoken this morning in depth about the Ruben Amorim situation, obviously dominating all of the back pages, completely going mad. Interesting this, I've looked in the pullout of the Telegraph, the sports pullout here, and this is a piece from Jason Burtz, who's their chief football correspondent. And part of it, he says, the manager-head coach debate opened up by Amorim is reminiscent of what Mauricio Pochettino said, having taken Tottenham Hotspur to their first Champions League final in 2019. Pochettino declared his job title should be changed back to head coach because he no longer had influence over Tottenham's transfer activity.
So that's where basically Ruben Amorim, that's after obviously he came out and, I think he said that they might have some money to spend in January, but now they sort of confirmed that they don't. Yeah. And he's basically saying, I want to have more control.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Ruben Amorim in his press conference yesterday after the game, he said, look, you may as well, I'm just effectively the head coach here. I get what I'm given, and then at the end of my contracts, I'll either leave or they'll keep me on.
It sounded like he was basically saying, after the 18 months that are left, I'll be gone, and the next person will come in.
And then he's kind of pinning it on Manchester United, which, I mean, you'll know from your situation at Chelsea as well. It's very reminiscent of Enzo Maresca. Yeah.
Which doesn't end well, I must say.
No, and this is the thing, this is something that Jason Burt highlights. But what's interesting is how sporting directors and directors of football seem to get away with this. Because if we take a quick hop over to our German counterparts, interestingly, the ones who have to do the interviews after matches and have to do these sorts of interviews are the directors of football and the sporting directors. The managers and the head coaches, they tend to just focus on the football, which I think is actually quite an interesting one. I would be really interested to hear from Jason Wilcox in this situation.
We're never going to, though, are we?
No, we're not.
It's like Chelsea. Chelsea fans would love to hear from the likes of Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart in the situation that's just occurred at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the way that football is these days, we're never going to. We're never going to hear from Enzo Maresca. We might, maybe down the line, but it's the same. If Ruben Amorim does leave Manchester United, we probably won't hear from him fully or truthfully about what's gone on, and we definitely won't hear from the sporting directors.
Absolutely not. And then all of a sudden we're left in the dark, and fortunately we have some very good football correspondents like Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook who can get some insider knowledge and pass that on to us. But their understanding is his job hangs in the balance, which it's crazy to say that in the space of a week we might lose. I'm not suggesting he's going to lose his job this week. I want to be plainly clear with that.
Yeah.
But imagine if we lost Ruben Amorim and Enzo Maresca in the space of a week. That would be a crazy way to start 2026.
I just it doesn't bode well. When a manager comes out and says whatever they think is the right thing, we saw it with Enzo Maresca, and literally 2 weeks later he was gone.
Yeah.
Is there a way back? I don't know. When a manager does come out and says something like that,
I think it depends who the board of directors has more faith in, the director of football or the manager. And it's usually the director of football. Usually they're the ones who have a bigger payout when you have to end their contracts as well. Speaking of changes of manager, of course, your club, Chelsea. Liam Rosenior has flown into London for Chelsea talks. He's expected to be named manager. This on the back page of the Times. Matt Lawton, he says that he travelled from Strasbourg Airport yesterday evening as that move is finalising. How do you feel about that?
I don't... Tom, you've chucked me under the bus here. I didn't want Enzo Maresca to go, right? I didn't want him to go. I think Chelsea fans have a lot of opinions before the City game. But when that equaliser went in the last minute, you forget all of those problems and you're just celebrating your team nicking a point away at the Etihad. Yeah. So I think when Liam Rosenior comes in, I think that you have to get behind him. You have to back him no matter what. No matter if you don't agree with how the sporting directors and the Chelsea hierarchy are running the club, at the end of the day, you can disagree with that all you want. You know, there's certain things that I disagree with. There's certain things that I agree with. I will never not back a Chelsea manager. And if Liam Rosenior comes in, which it looks like he's going to, I will 100% back him. Listen, it's a huge risk again.
Yeah.
But there's quite clearly a way that this hierarchy are thinking, and it is young, inexperienced managers and young. I think there is a few experienced players in there now. I'm talking like Mark Cucurella's experience, Reece James's experience. Yeah, there is some experience. I do think Chelsea need a little bit more. But I'm intrigued. I've got no idea, Tom, how on earth this is going to go. But I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
I'm so used to it. This is Chelsea.
It speaks volumes about how, you know, say 10, 15 years ago, the likes of the managers being brought in were Thomas Tuchel, Carlo Ancelotti, and now it's Liam Rosenior. No disrespect to him. And actually, I, having watched Championship football over previous years, being a Leeds United fan, I've seen some Liam Rosenior teams in action. I've seen him take a whole team that were, should have really been fighting relegation, take them to nearly the playoffs. And he was fired because he didn't do a good enough job, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So I think, look, there is cause for optimism there. He's a very good coach. And I think that's kind of what Chelsea's directors want.
Yeah, I'm not sure they want a manager.
Yeah.
They don't want a Ruben Amorim.
No.
They don't want
an Enzo Maresca.
Yeah, they don't want
They want someone who's just going to be like, yes, I can do that for you, no problem. Just to round up our back pages chat very quickly, on the back page of The Guardian, an exclusive from Jacob Steinberg says that Nuno is losing the West Ham dressing room as morale slips. Yes, this is Nuno Espirito Santo. He's in danger of losing the support of West Ham's squad because of concerns over his man management and tactics, which after their chastening performance at the weekend, I was watching the highlights of the match of the day, and they just looked like a team that are so downbeat and downhearted, and nothing is working for them. And there is part of that wonders about how Nuno is managing the team, but also part of that with how the players are responding to him. Are they just kind of expecting, well, we'll get someone else in and that might work?
I don't have a clue, but what I do know is that game against Forest, the Nuno derby, is on Tuesday the biggest game. It is the biggest game, and I think if West Ham lose that, I'm not sure there.
I will just say again, as a Leeds United fan, I am very glad that Leeds have kind of pulled themselves away from that. They could be further away. They could have done better in that run, even though they are undefeated.
No, you've done really well.
I'm very pleased at where they are. Yeah, very pleased at where they're at. But to not be within that scrap thrills me absolutely. Yeah. I'm very pleased to be with
I'm happy for you, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Needed that validation. Thank you.
Right, it's coming up to 5:30. Up next, we'll reflect on Wilfred Nancy's worst weekend as Celtic manager yet. You're listening to Early Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport with me, Olivia Buzaglo.
When Sir Jim Ratcliffe took control of footballing operations at United, the Manchester-born billionaire was somewhat welcomed in as a homegrown hero, ready to save the club from the dark days of the Glazers. But in just 12 months, he became a punchbag for many fans. So what happened? Well, let's take a look and you can decide for yourself. Over the last 3 years, the club lost 300 million quid, and Ratcliffe rightfully committed to sorting that. But what seemed to get fans' backs up is the way he went about it. For example, TalkSport understands staff lunch options at the Carrington canteen have been reduced to just soup and sandwiches, which the higher-ups at the club say will save them 1 million quid a year. Now, that might make sense for many who don't get free meals at work themselves, but it does get a little bit more picky than that. It was reported that after staff brought some stationery, they were ordered to send sellotape back because it wasn't considered to be essential. And the reward for being Steward of the Week used to be 50 quid, but that was scrapped and replaced by a paper certificate. But it's not just seemingly stingy decisions. In 2024 alone, Ratcliffe oversaw 250 redundancies, and more were announced at the beginning of 2025. Now, while there are people who acknowledge United staff numbers are overinflated, it's the optics which aren't great. Add to the mix the introduction of a flat ticket price of 66 quid for every fan, even children, while Casemiro's on 350 grand a week, and the frustration of fans reached fever pitch. Time will tell whether Ratcliffe's cost-cutting measures will improve outcomes at the club, but one thing's for sure, there's a long way to go for United to be back where many say they belong.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Buzaglo. You are listening to Early Sports Breakfast here on TalkSport. We're building up to breakfast this morning with Jeff Selling and Ray Parlour. They'll be bringing you that from 6 a.m. Right, some of your headlines then. This Monday morning, Gary Neville has compared Ruben Amorim's news conference outburst on Sunday to Enzo Maresca's before he left Chelsea, with the former Manchester United defender admitting the comments are never usually good. Tyson Fury has announced he will return to boxing in 2026. What an almighty shock that was. Bringing an end to his latest spell of retirement. And Coventry have seen their lead at the top of the Championship cut, following a 3-2 loss at local rivals Birmingham, which was then made worse by Middlesbrough's 4-0 thumping of Southampton. Manager Frank Lampard, however, still thinks 6 points is a healthy lead with 20 Championship games left.
That's reality, and I'm talking fresh after the game. That's a great reality for us, because I think this season, for me, was always going to have a moment like this. Unfortunately for us, it's come in a busy period over Christmas where, with our squad and the stretched nature of our squad, you can maybe see that the lads have come down a little bit. So we have some time to take a breather. We have to keep positive energy, because it's what's got us to where we are this season, with the way that the players have worked, the way we set up tactically, how we are as a team, the way we move the ball. We've come on a huge amount. So to get back to those things.
Come on, Super Frank. I want Coventry to come up so badly. But yeah, they're still top of the Championship. There's no need to panic just yet. Elsewhere over in Sydney, Joe Root hit an impressive 160 overnight to help England to 384 on day one of the fifth Ashes Test. Australia are currently 92-1 in reply. Let's have a little catch up then with John Norman. John, can you just sum up for us what's happened overnight then over in Sydney?
Yeah, well, you pick up the main story, really. Joe Root, what a brilliant innings again from England's best ever bat. His 41st Test century, his second Ashes century this series. And if not for him, once again, England would be looking in a sorry state. He looked in such good touch on a pitch which, did give assistance to the bowlers throughout. Doesn't have that extravagant seam movement. It's not breaking up like some of the pitches, and doesn't have the bounce, and that's really the key. and he looked completely at home and at ease throughout the innings. It was a shame, really, that Brook went early. He was caught first slip for 84. So their partnership, which was the best that England have enjoyed in the series, 161 I think it was, came to an end early, and wickets did fall relatively regularly. So if not for Joe Root's 160, England would have fallen well short of the 384 that they ended up posting. Since then, though, well, kind of the same errors really have afflicted England today. They've either bowled too short or too full. Bryden Cast has been expensive. Catches have gone down. Duckett and Root both putting down chances. And then Weatherall, when he was finally out, was out LBW, not being able to deal with the full delivery on the pad. So kind of where we are and have been throughout this series. Oh, and I should also say Travis Head's gone past 50 in good time. So Australia trailed by 292. England bowled out for 384, and in response they're 92 for 1.
Thank you very much, John. We'll be back, John, as and when anything happens over in Sydney in that Ashes test. All right, for more on all the day's biggest stories, you can head over to TalkSport.com. Right, we've spoken about the Premier League. It was a huge result at the bottom of the table. What a first half performance it was from Wolves. They were 3-0 up at half-time, and that is how it finished. And you cannot say they didn't deserve it. What I would say is that it did feel like Rob Edwards was getting closer and closer and closer to a win. The deficit in defeats was close. They were unlucky against Liverpool. They were unlucky against Arsenal. And I'm really happy for Rob Edwards. Listen, it's still a really, really tough ask. Don't get me wrong. Only on 6 points. Forest are there on 18. But a win is a win, and they'll be very happy about that. Now, after the game, West Ham boss Nuno made this appeal for January additions.
It's not about, it's everybody. It's everybody at the club realizing tough position that we are, tough situation that we are. Yes, it's a transfer window. The club is working to try and rebalance the squads, and we need options. We need better options, because what we have now is not enough.
Yeah, they've already signed Brazilian striker Pablo from Portugal for £21 million. But TalkSport does understand that Nuno's position is under threat. When you look at West Ham, they're 4 points off Forest. Obviously, if they can beat Forest on Tuesday, that gap gets cut to just a point. But it's a big if, isn't it? Especially if you're going off that performance against Wolves, especially that first half performance. So it was a disastrous first 45 for West Ham, and it was a disastrous 21 second half minutes for Celtic. They lost their 6th game out of 8 under Wilfred Nancy. What a result for Danny Röhl, though, in his first Old Firm derby. Hearts are still top of the Scottish Premiership. They're on 44 points. Celtic are there in second on 38, and Rangers are on 38 as well, sat in third. Now, despite this shocking form, Celtic went 1-0 up in that game. Nancy said it's time to stay patient.
Like I said, I think that if we concede goals, on the play, open play, yes, but we didn't concede goal like this. I think that this is the focusing, the mental intensity that we have to keep doing. And after that, obviously, after the second goal was difficult, the energy was difficult, and we conceded the third one, and after that, obviously, it was tough. But again, my player did really good stuff. But this is kind of the same game, actually. And we have to be strong. Things are going to work out for us, but it's true that this moment we have this kind of situation. This is difficult to accept, but we're going to work on that to turn things around.
Yeah, there's one thing losing a game, but to lose an Old Firm game. Celtic fans, how are you feeling? Get in touch, 81089 on the text. Are you willing to stay patient for Wilfred Nancy? That's after losing the Old Firm derby. Right, it is coming up to 5:42. It's time now for this.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move!
The front page is first on the early sports breakfast. TalkSport.
Right, Tom's back with me in the studio. Tom, we're going to have a look at some of the lighter stories in the front pages.
We are indeed.
What have you got for me?
Well, it's all a bit heavy today, so I thought I'd lean into actually some AI. And teachers are apparently using AI, and they're worrying that it's cheating. So half of teachers use artificial intelligence for lesson plans and to mark homework, but many say it can feel like cheating. That's according to a new study. A survey found that more than 1,000 teachers found 49% also use AI tools for reports, letters, and assemblies. However, the survey for annual education technology exhibition at BET found 69% fear AI is unreliable. How much do you use AI?
I don't use it at all.
You're not using...
I don't use it at all.
No.
But I know my sisters use it. If they want to complain about something, if you want to write a letter to something, if you want to write an email to something, they'll just put it into ChatGPT and just...
I know some people who write emails. I won't say who, but in this building, they've sent out circulars to some members of our team who are just like, yes, we wrote this via AI. Please don't judge us.
But the problem is that it's so easy. Like, if you just can't be asked to
tell me
write a complaint or a letter, you type it into ChatGPT and it'll just give you it. Obviously, you change some things to make it sound like.
But it can be really useful because I worked out how much energy I'm consuming in my new flat.
So, did you? Maybe I need to use it for that because my energy bills are
and I don't really understand how it all works. So I just got AI to do it for me, and I'm now I'm saving about 10 quid a month. It's great.
Nice.
So
Maybe I need to use it for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's your ringing endorsement this morning. Elsewhere, this one in the Daily Mail. This is saying students are still signing up for Mickey Mouse degrees. More than 27,000 students have enrolled in almost 800 Mickey Mouse University courses in the past 4 years. That's according to research. Courses derided for being highly unlikely to directly lead to a well-paying job, to include climate justice and traditions of yoga and meditation. Are being taken up.
I was going to say, what is a Mickey Mouse degree? Because I did a media degree, and listen, I'm working in the media now, so maybe I use that. But I wonder if people would say that's a Mickey Mouse degree.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you agreeing?
I did my degree in media as well.
We both used it, which was...
Exactly. And people said to me at the time, well, what if you want to go into journalism, why not just do an English degree and learn how to write English better? And just like, well, I'm working in journalism now. I did a journalism degree. So
here we are.
Exactly.
I wonder if it is
I'm not really sure how climate justice and traditions of yoga and meditation is...
Is that even a thing?
I don't know.
Can you go and study that at university?
Well, apparently there's 27,000 students across the course of the 4 years who signed up to it.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it shows it's all going crazy. Get an apprenticeship instead. And then we go into the Times to find out it will be a dark day if we lose historic Victorian lampposts. That's according to campaigners, because there are suggestions that some of the classic cast iron lampposts that you see that have been around for,
Why would we get rid of them?
Well, they're saying that they're unsightly and that they're obviously energy consuming because they're oil lamps, or they're not particularly helpful with modern technology. So they're thinking about replacing them. But campaigners are saying that the things that we're going to be replacing them with look ugly and banal.
Oh.
Which is a real problem. I find in 2026.
I reckon we keep the old lampposts.
I agree. I think we should preserve British history.
Do you know what? The front pages is actually my favourite part of the show.
It's great, isn't it?
It's great.
It's great. Good. That's in the Times as well. That's like on the...
It's an important story.
It's a very important story.
It's an important story.
Very important.
Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, you are listening to Early Breakfast with me on TalkSport. I'm Olivia Buzaglo. It's just gone 5:45. Up next, we will celebrate the brilliance of back-to-back world's darts champion, Luke Littler.
26k for 2026 on TalkSport.
Very good morning. I'm Olivia Buzaglo. This is the early sports breakfast on TalkSport. We're building up to breakfast at 6 a.m, just over 10 minutes time with Jeff Stelling and Ray Parler. Just one thing, I don't know if you were hearing us talk about them potentially changing lampposts. Our producer Sim has said he doesn't want them to because he likes to climb them. And he says, like, I don't know how old Sim is now. He says he used to do it as a kid, and I think he still likes to climb lampposts now. So if you could not get rid of the lampposts, so our producer can keep climbing them, that would be great. Right, it's competition time. TalkSport is kicking off 2026 by giving you the chance to win a massive £26,000. At 12 p.m. this Friday, we'll be calling one lucky winner with a guaranteed payment made that day. Yes, one of you could pocket 26 grand. What would you do with 26 grand? It's 26k for 2026. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 423 9761. Lines close at 12 p.m. Friday. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. UK residents only 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's are at talksport.com/win. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now. Good luck. Right. Let's get on to the dart, shall we? Because what a night it was for Luke Littler. He did it again. The 18-year-old dart sensation retained his crown at the Ali Pali, and it was all live on TalkSport.
So we are underway on TalkSport. Jan van Veen has the darts, and there's your first maximum of the night at a very opportune time for the nuke. Jan van Veen pins double four, and a scrappy end to the first set sees the Dutchman go one set up. Single 19 leaves tops. That's how you take a set out with your first ton plus checkout. And Luke Littler didn't take long to peg back Jan van Veen. Another 180 pinned. He's starting to go through the gears here, the nuke. Gone further away with dart 2, but hits it with dart 3, and that is a 3-1 lead for Luke Littler. Oh.
The Wasp's back, there it is.
The Wasp is back with a vengeance. Went straight for Luke Littler. We've not seen the Wasp for about a week.
Must be a Van Veen fan.
He's inside double 10. How about double 5? There you go, 4-1 to Luke Littler. He's not happy having to pin double 5 to get the set done. For a fifth straight set at 60, Littler delivers.
Littler poised on 54 after 9 to take the set and go 6-1 up. He's not missing anything.
He's hit the treble 19. He needs double 15. And we are witnessing sporting brilliance. Littler does go back to back. The 147 out to win it in style. His fourth maximum.
Oh, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? I did watch it. On the back page of this morning's Sun, it says Littler holds all of the cards. It says he'll splash some of his £1 million Ali Pali winnings on football stickers. That was after being introduced to live shopping app Whatnot by Angry Ginge. He says one of his hobbies is collecting sports trading cards. And he said, I like football cards at the minute, so I may treat myself to a few boxes. Just a few. Panini cards, top cards, anything. It's Ginger's fault. He got me into Whatnot. You bid and they open a box and then say you get Cristiano Ronaldo, you get a Ronaldo card. I wonder how many Panini cards you could buy for £1 million. We'll see. Maybe we'll see how many Luke Littler can buy. I mean, it was an incredible performance. I have seen some people out there though saying it's a little bit boring. I think a lot of people wanted to see a more competitive final. I know a lot of the experts had it 7-5 to Luke Littler. To win 7-1 in a final, and, you know, he obviously lost the first set to Jan van Veen, but to come back and to play the way he did, how are people feeling about it? Do we like the fact that Luke Littler is probably going to dominate this sport for the next however many years? Is Jan van Veen the closest player to Luke Littler? Can anyone stop his dominance? Should Luke Littler have won Sports Personality of the Year? I know it was Rory McIlroy, and I don't think a lot of people would have any complaints with Rory McIlroy winning. But after the year that Luke Littler has had, should he have won Sports Personality of the Year. Is he Britain's greatest current sportsman? Is there anyone better right now? Get in touch, 81089 on the text. Littler, unsurprisingly, told TalkSport he feels on top of the world.
It's been doubled, obviously, the winners, and then there's the runner-up, the semi-finalists, quarter-finalists. But yeah, it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. But this win is just, it's increased that gap from Luke Humphries, and yeah, I'm in the clear now for number one.
Yeah, he's by far the best player in the world, isn't he? And actually, you know, obviously we have to remember he is still a teenager. He's got, this is crazy when you consider everything that's happening. And his little outburst on the stage during the Worlds, I think I quite enjoyed obviously not a lot of people liked what he said, I get that. But I think the fact that he admitted he was like, you know, I think I've left my head on the stage. Like, stuff like that is going to happen. And I think he will learn from that. And I think the crowd after that were on his side. And what we are witnessing is just, is it going to be Phil Taylor dominance? Is it going to be that? I don't know. So that was obviously Luke Littler winning the World back-to-back. He obviously became just the fourth player to do so. It was an incredible night. And also, we haven't really spoken about it, but it was an incredible day yesterday for Keith Andrews and Brentford. For one, I've come on here and I've put my hands up and not even apologised, but I just thought they would really struggle given the players they lost in the summer. Not just the players they lost, but the amount of goals they lost as well. And wow, Keith Andrews has done an incredible job. I think Brentford at home can beat anyone, but to go away to Everton, you know, they've got a pretty good record at the Hill Dickinson. Igor Thiago did wonders for my fantasy team, didn't he? Go on, Igor Thiago. I actually forgot to change my team this week. And I had Igor Thiago, I had Harry Wilson, I had Enzo Fernandez. It was actually a very good week. And they are up to 7th in the Premier League table. Is he manager of the season so far? Is that a shout? Because a lot of people are talking Regis Labrie. I mean, Arteta will definitely be up there. Unai Emery as well. But given the context of where Brentford were, they lost Thomas Frank. They lost their 2 top goal scorers last season. Do we think that Keith Andrews is in with a shout of being manager of the season so far? 81089 on the text. I think it is about time we give Brentford some love because, yeah, I think they've surprised everyone, haven't they, this season? Right, there's plenty more coming up on TalkSport Breakfast this morning. It is Jeff Stelling and Ray Party Parlour with you from 6 a.m. Right, the Sun's Manchester United correspondent Sam Luckhurst will join for the latest on Ruben Amorim's relationship with his bosses. Fergie's ex-right-hand man, Reddy Mullenstein, is on as well. So hopefully they can provide some insight into Ruben Amorim's comments, what they think is going to happen next as well. Former Celtic defender Charlie Mulgrew has his say on Saturday's Old Firm disaster. Celtic going 1-up in that game, ending up losing the game. Do they need to stay patient with Wilfried Nancy? We'll have legendary darts referee Russ Bray will discuss what we've just been talking about and the absolute sensation that is Luke the Nuke Littler. And finally, with Nuno's future in doubt, we'll find out what former Hammers defender James Collins makes of the mess in East London. It is obviously a huge mess right now, and it is such a big game on Tuesday against Nottingham Forest. If Nuno wins, can that change West Ham's season? We will wait to find out. You've been listening to Early Sports Breakfast with me, Olivia Buzaglo. It's Jeff and Ray on the way.